now there's another story coming out of this game, and it is the special whistle, or lack thereof, that A'ja Wilson is getting. And this isn't the first time.
When a reigning MVP starts acting more like a sore loser than a leader, something's clearly boiling beneath the surface. Las Vegas Aces star A'ja Wilson finally hit her breaking point during a tense showdown with the rising Indiana Fever. As the pressure mounted, Wilson's frustration exploded, ending in a cheap shot on rookie sensation Aliyah Boston that instantly lit up the league. Fans, players, and analysts aren't just talking, they're calling it out. What happened to the poised champion? Because in that moment, A'ja didn't look like the face of the league. She looked rattled.
The moment right here was so egregious, man. I just wanted to point it out. I had to point it out, dog. There was no way, all right, that you can't tell me that the A'ja Wilson whistle isn't a thing. I remember this specific moment, right, where Aliyah Boston was backing down, trying to put the ball back up, and A'ja Wilson gets a jump ball after wrapping her arms clearly around from the backside.
To make matters worse for Wilson, the Las Vegas Aces are spiraling while the Fever continue to climb, even without injured superstar Caitlin Clark. The contrast couldn't be clearer. Indiana's rising, Vegas is reeling, and Wilson's outbursts are only making headlines for the wrong reasons. Her frustration is now front and center, her team is slipping, and the 2025 WNBA narrative is shifting, and not in her favor.
But the Aces looking a little long in the tooth there in Vegas. That team, that core, just kind of sputtering at this point in time, slow-footed, and that's where I thought that the Fever could take advantage of the Aces, and they did. And Indiana moved quickly. They moved with purpose. They get another big game from Kelsey Mitchell in this one, who continues to just prove that she is a baller, a hooper, and a bona fide.
The Indiana Fever have dominated the Las Vegas Aces lately, a sentence that would have sounded laughable just a year ago. But on July 3rd, the Fever crushed the defending champs 81-54, ending a brutal 16-game losing skid to Vegas. And no, this wasn't some lucky break or off night. It was a statement. The balance of power is shifting, and Indiana's making it clear. The Aces' reign is no longer untouchable.
Aliyah Boston was just throwing the ball at the basket and hoping for the best, but she locked down A'ja Wilson today. She completely outplayed A'ja Wilson. I don't care what the box score says. She completely outplayed A'ja Wilson. And if she just made a couple of those bunnies, this wouldn't have been a close game at all.
If you are enjoying, please leave a like and subscribe our channel. Just 3 weeks later, on July 24th, the Fever did it again, defeating the Aces 80-70 and clinching the season series 2-1, all without their biggest star, Caitlin Clark. Despite A'ja Wilson's efforts, she dropped 29 points in that first blowout loss. She simply couldn't carry Vegas on her own. The support wasn't just lacking, it was non-existent. Her teammates shot a dismal 16% from the field, and not a single other player scored more than 6 points that night.
Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70. That player right there, Natasha Howard, she came alive in the third quarter, dropping 11 points in the third quarter, giving us the lead, a 27-point third quarter without Caitlin Clark. Who would have thought this team can score over 20 points in a quarter without Caitlin Clark?
Wilson's frustration has been on full display, arguing with officials after nearly every whistle, throwing sarcastic smiles when calls didn't go her way. She's acted like the lead in a one-woman drama, protesting every bump and bruise. But for all the theatrics, the result stayed the same. The Aces kept losing, again and again, as her outbursts did little to change the scoreboard, or the trajectory of their season.
The WNBA referees look at A'ja Wilson literally mugging somebody, literally reenacting the now infamous Coldplay concert hug heard around the world that had 9 million memes made about it over the last week, when she's literally remaking that on the court by just mugging Aliyah Boston. Oh, shit. Them WNBA referees turn into Ray Charles. They swallow their damn whistles.
It's clear why Wilson is on edge. Las Vegas has arguably been the WNBA's best team ever since drafting her in 2018. They've won 2 championships in that span. So a mediocre .500 record is not what she expects. Yet after the latest Fever defeat, the Aces sat at 12-12, looking up at the Fever's 13-12 in the standings. That's right. Indiana, a team that hadn't made the playoffs in years until last season, is currently ahead of Las Vegas. Wilson is, by all accounts, fed up with her team's form this season. And as her frustration mounts, it's manifesting in some ugly ways on the court.
Okay, Aja was terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. I don't care that she had 20 points. The fakest 20 points ever. She was terrible. She was absolutely terrible.
The flashpoint came in the July 24th matchup, and it was impossible to miss. Early in the second quarter, Fever center Aliyah Boston got the ball down low and battled for position against Aja Wilson. Boston was fighting to make a move to the basket when Wilson came up from behind and clamped down on her arms. For a good 10 seconds, the two jostled and grappled in the paint. Finally, a whistle blew. But incredibly, the referee called it a jump ball instead of a foul. Boston was irate. She immediately turned to the official and protested. "She came from my back." Even the TV commentator chimed in disbelief. When you get someone from the back, it doesn't usually get you a jump ball. In other words, by all appearances, Wilson had mugged Boston, yet got away with it. The smile on Wilson's face after the no call said it all, as if she knew she'd gotten a gift from the refs.
Aja Wilson, she gets the left hand on the ball, right? Slaps down, get a hand on the ball. Okay, cool. Still got it. Now, right here, watch this right hand now. Look at this right hand, y'all. Right hand grabs her, okay? Right hand grabs her. She knows she cheating. Look, she's smiling. She knows she cheated, y'all.
Fever fans were livid at the sequence, and they took to social media to call it out. They pointed out that Wilson seems to get favorable whistles on the regular. Wilson gets away with these fouls all the time, especially against the Fever, another fan observed, noting this exact scenario had happened before. In fact, in a July 4th meeting between the teams, Wilson similarly came over a Fever player's back. That time it was Lexi Hull trying to steal the ball, and once again the refs inexplicably called a jump ball instead of a foul. Deja vu? Anyone? It's a pattern that has not gone unnoticed, and Indiana's loyal supporters are furious. The Aja Wilson whistle, as some call it, has sparked debate about inconsistent officiating across the league, with even Fever coach Stephanie White publicly criticizing inconsistent officiating this season. To add another layer of irony, recall that in the team's first matchup back in June, Wilson was the one accusing Boston of bad behavior. Camera footage caught Aja barking to Aliyah, "Flopping, that's all you do," after Boston's reaction drew a foul call on Wilson. In Wilson's eyes, Boston was acting, selling contact for calls. Fast forward a month, and it's Wilson who's essentially body-slamming Boston from behind, trying to prevent a score. The tables have turned. The dirty play came from Aja, not Aliyah, and everyone saw it.
Let that happen. Let somebody even breathe on Aja Wilson. I don't. I can't whistle. You get the point. I mean, they're hitting a buzzer. The pressure luck buzzer. The whammy starts coming out. All right, the whammies start coming out because Aja Wilson going to free throw line. She going to the free throw line. That's all there is to it.
Wilson's rough tactics have been exposed to a national audience, and it's not a good look for the two-time MVP. The Fever did get the last laugh that night by winning the game, but the controversies overshadowed even the final score. And it's not just the Fever feeling Asia's wrath. Literally, the very next game, on July 25th against Minnesota, Wilson's frustration boiled over again. In the first quarter, as she jockeyed for position with Lynx All-Star Kayla McBride, the two briefly got tangled, and Wilson responded by shoving McBride with two hands, sending her sprawling to the hardwood. McBride hit the floor hard. The punishment? Just a common foul on Wilson. No ejection, no flagrant, much to the disbelief of Minnesota fans. While there didn't appear to be prior bad blood between Wilson and McBride, that little exchange might have just started some. A'ja Wilson is developing a reputation for these outbursts of physical play, and opponents are taking note. As a result, referees and league officials are under pressure too. How long will Wilson be allowed to push the envelope before real disciplinary action comes?
Look at this. Smiling at it. Look. Just a grinning. Look at this. What in the world's going on, man? Wrapping around her, hugging her. She knows she cheating, look. And getting away with murder, bro. Diabolical work. Look at this. Hugging her. She is hugging her, fam. Oh my goodness. What? Hey, Ref. At this point, man, she need to take her out to dinner, man. Take her out to dinner at this point, Ref. What's going on?
Indiana's leader has never been shy about showing emotion on the court. Lost in all this drama is the fact that Indiana has been playing without the most electrifying rookie in the league, Caitlin Clark, yet still knocking off Asia's aces. Clark, who has been sidelined for several games with a left groin injury, has had to watch these battles from the bench. But even injured, Caitlin's competitive fire burns hot. In a recent game, a Fever win over Connecticut, Clark needed to be held back during a heated confrontation with a referee, despite not even being in the lineup. With 4 minutes and 33 seconds left in the third quarter of that contest, as officials reviewed a disputed out-of-bounds call, Clark was seen jawing at referee Mike Price while hobbling back toward the bench. Assistant coach Brianne January had to pull her away. Even then, Clark wasn't done. Moments later, she was yelling across the court at the refs again. "That's just rude. Grow up. Come here, come here." Unbelievable. This is the kind of passion and leadership the Fever are missing on the floor while Clark heals up. She's just a rookie, but already Caitlin Clark is the heartbeat of the franchise.
Uh-oh. Wonder what he said. Oh! She was about to run over there.
I'm not a good lip reader.
What did he say?
I got it, but I don't want to read card 99.
Huh.
Okay.
She said basically, "Are you kidding me?" to Michael Price, and that was Brianne January, who is.
She said, "That's just rude.
9
Grow up."
years in Indiana.
Oh!
On the staff.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
a live shot now of Caitlin Clark.
What's the issue? What happened?
He's still upset and wants an explanation
Ooh.
from Michael Price.
She's gonna be calling him. He's like, whatever.
Last year in her debut season, she took Indiana to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, shattering expectations for a team that had been a league doormat for years. Clark proved she could carry a team on her back, leading Indiana in points, assists, and steals, and showing maturity beyond her years. As one season review noted, many players might have folded under the pressure and hype, but Clark tuned out the noise and established herself as arguably the best point guard in the league even as a rookie. The so-called Caitlin Clark effect saw the Fever set attendance records as fans flocked to see her play. Simply put, she's a franchise-changing superstar, the kind of player who can single-handedly elevate a team's ceiling. Knowing all that, imagine how it feels for A'ja Wilson right now.
Another nice sight for the Fever to see was this from Cece hopping off the bench. You don't want to read too much into it, but it's something, right? Obviously, she gets a little frustrated with the officials, and Stephanie White was frustrated with the officials in this game as well. But you see Caitlin hop right to her feet there with no hesitation. Right up. That, again, you can be injured and that can happen, but not moving too gingerly there on the sideline was Caitlin Clark, which is another positive sign.
Just a year ago, Aja Wilson was the league MVP, leading a stacked Aces squad to her third championship. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, was the rookie shaking up the league, turning a lottery-bound Fever team into a playoff threat through sheer grit and willpower. Fast forward to now. Clark is sidelined, yet the Fever keep winning, toppling heavyweights like New York and Las Vegas without her. Wilson? She's no longer surrounded by high-performing all-stars, and the burden of carrying Vegas alone is clearly wearing on her. The frustration has boiled over into shouting at refs, borderline cheap shots, and constant emotional outbursts. It's a telling contrast in leadership. Clark's competitive fire continues to energize Indiana, even from the bench, while Wilson's visible irritation appears to be draining Vegas. One inspires, the other implodes. And as the Fever rise and the Aces stumble, the difference in how each star handles adversity is shaping the story of the 2025 season.
Aliyah Boston's like, come on now. Let me just run it. She's mad as hell. I don't blame her. I mean, I don't blame her. Look at this. Look at this. What are we doing? Referees, where are the officials? Where? Then comes the loving embrace. Where are the officials? Look at that. Look at Asia's face. She knows the referees are going to give her the whistle. She knows it. Look at that. Yeah, look at it. Look.
One of the big storylines emerging from this saga is the comparison between Aja Wilson and Caitlin Clark in terms of carrying their teams. Wilson is a two-time league MVP and a WNBA champion, a proven superstar, but this season is testing her in new ways. The Aces have been depleted by injuries and player departures, and Wilson has been forced into a one-woman show on many nights. She's still putting up gaudy numbers, over 22 points, 9 rebounds per game, yet the Aces keep losing. In that 81-54 embarrassment to Indiana, Wilson scored 29 points on efficient shooting, and the rest of her squad managed a measly 25 points combined. Fact is, Las Vegas would likely be the worst team in the league, if not for Wilson's heroics. That's how much she's carrying, and it still hasn't been enough to avoid a 500 record. For all her individual brilliance, Aja is learning how hard it is to single-handedly drag a struggling team to victory every night. Caitlin Clark did exactly that last year for Indiana. She took a 531 team from 2023 and turned them into a playoff team in 2024. As a rookie, she led the Fever in almost every category and never shied away from the moment. Clutch shots, fearless drives, barking at veterans on the court, Clark established a culture of competitiveness in Indiana that had been missing for a long time. Her efforts paid off with a postseason berth, the Fever's first in 8 years, and a Rookie of the Year award. It's no wonder the Fever players rally around her. Even while injured, her presence on the bench, standing up and shouting encouragement or critiques at the refs, fires up the team and the crowd.
Got Caitlin Clark sitting right here, man, after I think it was a tough shot by Aliyah Boston and nothing was called. Let's take a look at this, man. Look at Caitlin Clark jumping like crazy. Oh my goodness. Caitlin, you have to sit down, man. Sit down. Oh.
So when Wilson and the Aces faced the Fever without Clark, many assumed Vegas would roll. Instead, the opposite happened. Indiana outworked and out-hustled Las Vegas, revealing the cracks in the Aces' armor. In fact, Wilson got a taste of what Clark dealt with last year, facing a strong opponent with little help. And unlike Clark, Wilson couldn't will her squad to the finish line. Asia. Wilson's frustrations and dirty play on Aliyah Boston have shown that the balance of power in the WNBA appears to be shifting. Wilson's aces look vulnerable, her MVP reign is under threat, and her temperament is raising eyebrows. On the other side, the Indiana Fever, powered by a fiery young star, are on the way up, playing fearless basketball and gaining respect league-wide.